What's going on? What's going on, everybody? The Working People's Podcast. James Hollingsworth coming to you live. Yes, the Working People's Podcast, where everybody desires to build generational wealth and a financial legacy for their families. And we are coming live because I got inspired. And I'll tell you what inspired me. It was my sister, my friend, Disha, who inspired me. Checking volume here real quick. Disha, who inspired me. Yep, good. I got audio. Who inspired me to talk about compound interest. That's basically what we, kind of she asked about, and it was about investing and how there was a post that I put up on my personal Facebook page that talked about 31% of the millionaires that were surveyed in Dave Ramsey's study showed that they did not make, they never made over $100,000. They never made over six figures. So with that in mind, she asked a question, and let me find that question that she asked. Okay, the question that she asked was, so I said 31% of the millionaires surveyed in Dave Ramsey's study never made or earned over six figures, $100,000. So she asked the question, please explain or expound on this a little more. You can't work your way to millionaire status. I understand it's investing that get you to that millionaire status. And so I did comment back to her on that post and, gave some I think it was maybe a little complicated. I don't really know. And kind of put up an example of different type of, I guess, different types of portfolios and stuff like that. So you can kind of get an idea of how you would set your strategy up based on your risk tolerance and what your goals were in terms of how much time you have. And as you plugged in the numbers and did your future value projections. So in a nutshell, I'm going to come to you because I want to give a deep dive and have a conversation, deep dive into compound interest, because I've done a lot of different podcast shows talking about future value projections and doing different things like that. Also doing the present day value of money and stuff like that, discounted value of money. So I wanted to deep dive really and explain and break down compound interest because I think it gets a little, I won't say convoluted, but it gets a little lost in translation, I think, as we've done shows on doing future value projections, showing numbers and talking about stuff like that, projecting numbers out for 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years, whatever, right? And doing these calculations. And I think sometimes it kind of gets, like I say, lost in translation where maybe perhaps it doesn't really inspire people to say, oh man, that's really doable or whatever. It's great to see the numbers at the end of the day, but I think a lot of times it doesn't really punch people in the chest. It doesn't Will Smith slap them in the face and really jar them out of maybe their current place where they're at and how they're handling their finances, and really inspires them to say, let me make some tangible strategic changes to get me to my future goals financially so I can really get myself at a place where I'm financially independent and I'm not struggling financially and I'm managing what I have well. Because truly, a lot of people, I do believe, they feel like that you have to make a lot of money or you have to own a business or something like that. And the reason why I put that post up is because out of the 10,000 people that was surveyed in the Dave Ramsey study, 31% of them never made over $100,000, right? And 3/4 of them, 75 to 80% of them, became millionaires, first generation millionaires, and they became millionaires by investing partially or primarily, not primarily, no, that's not correct. one of the places, their primary main places where they invested was in their company sponsored 401k, or they had alternative investments in IRAs and stuff like that. But it was really through just systematic dollar cost average investing over time, right? 75 to 80% of them reached millionaire status that way. So I just skipped all over. Thank you for watching. If you do come through on YouTube, press the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you can get notified when we upload new content, new videos. And so if you do support the content and you're getting value out of this content, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us to grow and to build. And the more that you share the videos with other people, the more that you press the like button, the more people that subscribe, the algorithms on YouTube and Facebook will start suggesting the videos to other people. I have been purchasing ads on Facebook to kind of get more, circulation of the videos and stuff like that. And so that's an investment that I've been making. But you can give stars. You can do that on Facebook on my personal page, James Hollingsworth. And you can also press the like button on Facebook, the heart button, share the video. That's a great way to help the algorithm to begin to suggest it. So if you are getting value out of the content, share this information with your friends. So let's deep dive into, as you saw the description of the video, a penny doubled for 30 days. So I had two early mentors in the space of investing. That was Roosevelt Sanders. Anybody that knows him from, my connection of people back in St. Louis, and also James Green. Roosevelt Sanders was actually a hands-on. He was investing in mutual funds, stocks. He understood about brokerage. He was the technical guy that set up that knew how to set up, do technical analysis on stocks and how to choose a good stock and how to invest. And that was his input into the things that I learned and gained from him, as well as, but on the other hand, James Green was like financial theory and principles. He really understood, core principles of finance and how to make them applicable in your everyday life and what they meant for just regular people. And he was just, I'll say, a regular guy, but he was phenomenal in terms of his knowledge and what he understood about finances and principles of finance, things like that, stuff that you would literally have to go to college and learn. That was my introduction, and that whet my appetite to know more and more. And so one of the first lessons that he taught me, that's what this is based off of. And the question that he asked me, and I'm going to ask you and pose it to you, and here's the question. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a penny every day that doubled for 30 days? Or actually, I guess a better way of saying it, would you rather have one penny and that penny doubled every 30 days? Or would you rather have right now in your hands $1 million? And I'll tell you what I selected. I selected, just like many people when I've posed that question over the years, I picked the $1 million. I said, man, having $1 million right now in my hand, this very moment, wow, what I can do with $1 million. But him knowing what he know about financial matters, he shared with me this principle about water seeking its own level. Basically, what that means is the more money you make, or the more money that you have in hand, the more money you make, the more money you spend. We typically adjust our lifestyle based on the amount of money that we have. And somebody gave you $1 million right now, human nature and the natural inclination is to take that money, and we would probably adjust our lifestyle to adjust to this newfound wealth or this newfound windfall, right? So would we really take the whole $1 million and invest it? Probably not, because that's just not typical human nature would do that. More likely, we would spend most of it and then take a small portion of it, the majority of us, and we would probably spend the majority of that money, and then we would probably invest, after we start looking, oh, wow, it's dwindling down. We would be like Brewster's Millions. Then we would probably start, getting serious about trying to take some of that money after we've spent most of it. So the theory of money basically says that what you have in hand right now is more valuable than the money that you will earn in the future, right? But here's the key principle with this scenario and with this question. A penny that doubles every day for 30 days or $1 million today. This introduces us to the core financial principle of not dollar cost averaging, but compound interest. And as we've stated before, Einstein said that compound interest was the eighth wonder of the world. So it kind of begins to give you the ideal of how money grows over time, right, at a particular interest rate. Because the rule of 72s basically says that if you take 72 and divide it into a certain number, then that would give you what interest rate that you need for money to double over a specified period of time. For example, if I'm talking too fast, say, James, will you slow down? At 15% interest, money doubles every 4.8 years. At 12% interest, money doubles every 6 years. And at, I believe, 9% interest, money doubles every 8 years. So it tells you through the rule of 72s how long it takes money to double at a specific interest rate, and it will tell you what that time period would need to be, right? So a penny every day that doubles for 30 days, mind you, I took the $1 million when he asked me the question. Then he asked me, say, are you sure, James, that you would take the $1 million today? I say, yes, I'm sure. I'd take that $1 million. Man, I could turn that $1 million into $2 million. He says, well, before you give me your final answer, I want you to go home, sit down with a pen and a piece of paper and calculate what that penny doubling for 30 days would be at the end of 30 days. And then call me back and tell me what your final answer is. So here's what the penny turned into when it doubled every day for 30 days. Are you ready for this? Hold on to your bow tie. Hold on to your lace fronts. And hold on to your eyelashes, because this is going to blow your wig back. You see that? A penny that doubles every day for 30 days. You see that? It turns into $5,368,709 and two pennies and a dime. Do you really want to take the $1 million today? This is the introduction into what compound interest does for money. Like we say, at 15% interest, money doubles. Money doubles. Whatever amount you have invested, if you earned an average interest rate of 15%, every 4.8 years, your money would double. If you averaged 12% over a duration of time, every 6 years, your money would double. That's important to know. So, in theory, talking about compound interest, how does this work, right? So, in a nutshell, come back off of sharing. In a nutshell, if you take a principal amount, whatever that amount is, $100, $1,000, in this example, 1 penny, and you take that penny and and you can invest that money, invest that penny or whatever, then that penny would earn interest. And as that penny earned interest, the principal amount and the interest continuously earns interest over time. So let's give like a breakdown of the 30 days. So keep in mind, the principal amount earns interest. And as the principal amount earns interest, there's also interest now added to that interest, and it grows and compounds over time. So basically, you can kind of look at it this way to say you have a principal amount. In this scenario, it was a penny. Then as that penny earned interest, that became your new principal. And every time that penny earned more interest, that became your new principal. Technically, it didn't, because the way we would look at it is we would look at the principal amount invested, and then we would look at the amount of growth over that principal amount that was invested, look at the duration of time that it took that money to grow and compound, and then we would be able to calculate a rate of return. Yes. So if you break it down for 30 days, how much does a penny double every day for a month? And, and this is what it looks like. So as you look through this, itemization or amortization, however you want to look at it, the first, say, 10 days, it didn't even grow to double figures yet, right? And if you look over the first 20 days, you don't even have 10 grand yet, right? Then if you look over the first 25 days, that's good money, $167,772 and a dime and 6 pennies, or a dime, a nickel, and 1 penny. That's good money for day 25. However, it doesn't kick into overdrive until, look at the example that we placed up here on the screen. It doesn't kick into overdrive and really start being on steroids to the very last 3 days. This is very critical and important that you see this and that you understand this. This is the core principle. This is what establishes everything that we have to understand about how compound interest works, the discipline that we need to get there. Then it takes into account now the strategy of dollar cost averaging, which now, if we backtrack that, systematically investing a certain amount over a certain period of time, if we now backtrack that, and then we look at the fact that you must live beneath your means, everything is built off of this. How much money come out of here? It's not how much money you make. It's how much money you keep. So the core initial principles that James Green introduced me to was, first thing you must do is pay yourself first. You must always make sure that you are taking a portion of your earnings, because the principle of a core principle of finance says the money that you have in hand today is worth more and more valuable than the money you will earn in the future through your income, earnings, or cash flow. Why? This is the reason why. Because it takes into account opportunity costs. I did a video a little bit ago on opportunity costs and used the example of a car. But opportunity costs, the money today, if you invest it, what you've taken advantage of is one of the core key elements of what compound interest, what makes money grow. And that is time. Time is key and essential to the compounding or the exponential growth of money through the process of compounding over time. Time is a key element. And so therefore, when you pay yourself first, You're taking the current dollars that you have in hand today and you're evaluating if you use it for this or you use it for this, right? That's the opportunity cost. It is what you lose or what you don't gain if you don't invest those dollars today that you have in hand, right? So pay yourself first. Next thing is you got to have discretionary income. So the principle in theory is this, and I hope inspires you. This has been ingrained, embedded in my psyche for years since he beat me. He just beat me over the head. He constantly said it until I got it. And that is, it's not how much money you earn, it's how much money you keep. So you got to pay yourself first because you got to live discipline beneath your means so that you have disposable discretionary income to invest, to pay yourself first. Because if you don't live beneath your means, how much money you make, not how much money you keep, and you don't have discretionary income and pay yourself first, you've just missed out on the opportunity for your money to grow. And every day that you don't invest is a day that you lose to potential growth of your money. Very essential to know that, right? So pay yourself first. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And money seeks its own level. What we tend to do when we make more money is we spend more money. And you must at all costs resist money seeking its own level. Have you ever noticed, no matter how much ice you tell McDonald's or whoever, don't give me a lot of ice. I want my tea, my sweet tea with light ice. And they end up giving you a lot of ice. As that ice melts, does your cup overflow? No. Water seeks its own level. So literally, what we tend to do is the more money we make, we adjust our lifestyle to equal, right? So as the ice melts, it doesn't become more than what's already in the cup that's in liquid form. It just raises to the exact limit of what it already is. So that's what we tend to do with our finances. The more money we make, we must resist the temptation to spend more when we really should be investing, saving and investing more and putting more to use for you, right? For your future. So the theory of compound interest takes into account that if we see this, let's break it down even further. Let's go here and break it down even further. Let's look at this. Once again, we said for the first 10 days, it didn't even go into double figures because it needs time to grow. So now you get to day 11, it finally jumps into double figures at $10.24. So now for the first 20 days, 10 days, we didn't even go to double figures. And then in the first 20 days, we didn't even jump over 10 grand yet for the first 20 days. That means we only have 10 days left of the month. Naturally, by this time, psychologically, what happens to us when we start investing and we're 10 years in or 15 years in, and it looks like, man, my money really still hasn't really grown. So here's a principle that you got to understand, right? Let's come out of this again. If you earn, let's go ahead and do that magical 15% interest. No, let's go with 10. Let's go with 10. 10 is more, feasible, plausible, whatever. If you earn 10% interest on $10, how much is that? It's only $1. If you earn 10% interest on $100, how much is that? Well, that's $10. It's still the same 10% interest, but because you have more, right? You've accumulated more, or you're starting with more, that same 10% interest now has a higher yield. No, that's not really accurate to say it that way. it has a higher, I can't even say it has a higher rate of return because it's still 10%. But because of what it is compounding, or what is the interest is earned, the amount that is earned off of, it produces a higher yield. I guess you could say it that way. We'll just say higher yield, right? But it's still 10%. Now, if you have 10% of $1,000, right? All other things being equal, 10%, same 30 days, whatever the case may be, the person who has $1,000, now they just had a return on their investment of $100. But each person, all things being equal, they earn 10% interest for 30 days, if we use that analogy. Now you take the person who has $10,000 or $50,000 or $100,000, 10% of $100,000. Well, you just made yourself had a return on your investment. That's a better way of saying it and more accurate. You just had a return on your investment of $10,000. But if you have $1 million, right, you can earn 5% interest on $1 million and have a better rate of not a better rate of return, but a higher rate of return on your investment than the person who earned a higher interest rate with substantially less money. That's the principle behind it. So when we take into account the 30-day chart on the penny doubling every day, for 20 days, it really hasn't grown and done much. You get to day 25 and you just cracked over $100,000. And you got 5 days left. But the penny is doubling every day, right? So look at the last 3 days. Fact, look at the last 2 days. It's those last 2 days because of the amount of volume, the amount of volume that your money has grown into. Those last 2 days is what kills, what literally blows out the water that $1 million that you would have got on day one if you took the lump sum. It blows it out the water. Day 30, you'll have over $5 million, right? Don't sit down and literally try to double a penny every day for 30 days. Unless you're already a millionaire, you won't be able to do it. It's the theory and the principle that we want you to get and fully understand how it works. It's compound interest that grows over time, where now the interest that your money has earned on your principal amount invested, now that begins to earn interest. And it may not seem like it's doing much for the first 10 years, 15 years, or even 20 years, or even 25 years. But it's, if you start soon enough, it's the amount of volume that gets built up. So now if you earn 10% on $1 million, this is how you can get enough money and take a certain pre-designated percentage out on a monthly basis or an annual basis, and you can always live off of your interest on your money, the interest earned. So it's critical and key that we understand the core principle of compounded interest. Man, I tell you, be honest, man, sometimes I feel like as I'm going through and explaining these, I get it and I understand it. I've been on this journey for so long with understanding these things, and I'm so passionate about it. I don't know a lot of times when I'm explaining it to other people if they get it, if they're really getting it the way that I understand it, and I know how to put these principles into fundamental practical application in my everyday, day-to-day, week-to-week, as my earnings, right, are given to me from my employer. I know how to put those earnings to use so that they will grow and build over time and create for me the time where I will have financial independence, right? So it's critical. This is where it all starts right here. It starts with you taking what you have in your hand right now today and seeing the value of it. Don't just see it as, oh, this little old job. I heard somebody say it, and I said this in a previous video that I just did, and I was talking to my friend Disha again, too. I was saying it to her. I think I even said it to my sister. But they said, and this is so true. This is how you must see your current situation. They said your employer is your first. You got to see your employer as your first business partner, because they are literally giving you the income, the earnings, right, that you need in order to put those dollars to use for you, for your dreams, for your future. And so therefore you can't just see what you have as small and little and insignificant and not enough. And only if I was rich, and only if I earned six figures, and only if I made more than $100,000 a year. Once again, 31% of all the 10,000 people that Dave Ramsey surveyed in their study on Millionaires, 31% of them never, ever earned more than $100,000 a year. Never, ever earned six figures. You got to see your employer as your business partner, because it is so essential to understand that core principle of finance, that the money that you have in your hand today is worth more than the money you will earn in the future. Because if you could think about it. Let's go back and look at this. Think about this. Think about the theory and what it really is saying to us. If you put that penny to use on day one, look what it does for 30 days. But what if you decided to stick that penny in your pocket because you was afraid of bank failures, afraid of the whole thing going around about, oh, banks are collapsing, so you won't trust banks. So you go and you stick it in a mattress, or you bury it in your backyard, or you just hold it so close to your bosom because you're afraid to use it. And somebody 25 days later convince you to invest it. So on the 25th day of the month, you decided to go ahead and invest that penny. Well, guess what it turns into in 5 days? Look at it. In 5 days, even with your penny doubling, for 5 days, you only have 16 cents. So time is essential, and you must see that the money, what you have in your hand today, is going to always be, even at high inflation, even with all the things that's circulating around, the theories that whether they're true, false, or whatever the case may be, whether you believe all the things that's being said, or you think it's conspiracy theories, whatever you think about our present day economy, inflation, the price of milk, the cost of tea in China, whatever the case may be, the truth is, it's going to always hold and remain true that the money that you have in your hand right now is worth more than the money you will earn in the future, even if it's $100,000, because opportunity cost. And here is where the principle of the present discounted value of money comes into play. If you are able to Thanos snap yourself into the future 10 years from now and get that windfall of $100,000, if you extract that $100,000 in the future and bring it back to present day, the amount of it is discounted by the cost of living today, what money is worth and valued at today. So $100,000 in the future is not worth $100,000 today. Is actually worth less because the present value is discounted because you have to put money that you currently have in your hands, you have to put it to use to earn interest for you, to grow for you. Okay? You don't believe it? How much was the price of gas in 1970? Let's go ahead and pull up. Let's see if I can Google that and find out. Let's see if I can find out. Let's see. The price of gas in 1970. Okay, you ready for this? Come on. Let's go on to it. I need to make this bigger so you can see it. Oh, God, I did wrong. Hold up. Hold up. I messed up. There we go. I got to get to the right screen. I got to do the right one. Over here. See if I do it right. There we go. There we go. Now I'm doing it right. Do you see that? Sorry about that. In 1970, right? We're taking money in the future, which is today, and carrying it back to the past, right? The present discounted value of money. In 1970, a gallon of gas cost 36 cents. By 1981, it had more than tripled to $1.19. Do you see that? As 1970, 36 cents. And as time went forward to 1981, 11 years later, that same gallon of gas then cost $1.19. And today, I saw at the Speedway, right over on Irish Road, the price of unleaded fuel, 1 gallon, was $3.11. Right? So, money in your hand right now today is worth more than what is going to be in the future, because it has the potential to grow if it's invested. Come on now. I really hope that somebody is getting this as you watch this video. This is so essential, and I hope that this information stirs you to action, causes you to see that you have to take some of your earnings now and put them to use for you, for the future. The Federal Reserve wants inflation to be at a healthy 2%. You say, well, how can it be healthy? How can inflation be healthy at all? Because inflation, a healthy level of inflation, 2%, it causes what is called price stability in the economy. So everything is going to cost more in the future. And if you put your money to use and earn 6% over time, which is extremely conservative, you still outpaced inflation by 4%. So what your money will be able to buy in the future will be able to keep up with how much things will cost in the future due to inflationary growth at a healthy 2% or 2.5 or 2.6%. But if you don't take your dollars and invest them, they will be worth less because they won't grow. If you got zero growth on your money and inflation's growing at 2% annually, every year, your money is actually eroding over time. That's where people start talking about the dollar is worthless and all of this other stuff. It's not that the dollar is worthless. It's that if you don't invest that money, those dollars will lose value when you don't invest them to grow, or you don't purchase, or you don't acquire appreciable assets that grows as well in value, things in the future as they grow in cost or grow in the amount that they are valued at. So your money right now that you have in your hand, it truly is indeed not about how much money you make. It's how much money you keep. That's why on that list of millionaires that Dave Ramsey did the study on, 10,000 millionaires, in the top 5 professions of the people that were millionaires in his study, one of those professions was teachers. Oh, I can tell you. I can show you better than I can tell you. Because I can feel that some people might be doubting that fact as we are disclosing it. Dave Ramsey, top 5 millionaire professions. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Here we go. Right there. Show on screen. The top 5 careers for millionaires from Dave Ramsey's study, where they surveyed 10,000 millionaires. The top 5, right, in his study, right? Now, it's only 10,000 people, but that's still the most comprehensive study that we've ever had on millionaires and how they acquired their millions, first generation, right? Top 5 professions was engineer, accountant, CPA, teacher, people that was in management, and then attorneys. Teachers. It's so important to not miss out on opportunity cost. Every time you buy an asset that depreciates in value, a car, a TV, whatever, right? That's not growing in value because it's a depreciating asset. It's an asset that's worth less and less as the clock ticks and the sun goes up and goes down and the moon every day, right? So the more you do that, the less that you don't give your money an opportunity to grow. So if that money could have grown into $20,000, but you took it and you spent it, it was $500, and you spent it on something else, or it's a car payment that's $600 every month, and you didn't invest that, all the growth that you could have had and earned on that money, you missed out on, because that's what opportunity cost is. It's the amount of growth and amount of money that you could have had if you would have taken an alternate choice, made an alternate choice, and decided to invest that money and earned interest for yourself, rather than go and buy something, make payments on it at an interest rate or whatever it is, especially if you put it on a credit card and you're not paying that off, monthly. You just made somebody else rich. It is so important to know how important compound interest is. It truly is magical. It truly is the 8th wonder of the world, as Einstein said. Compound interest is truly magical. It is truly indeed the 8th wonder of the world. Today, we have a choice, all of us. Do you want to take it into your hands, and responsibility of what you're doing with your money, with the dollars that you have? Will you make a commitment to at least invest 10% of everything that comes into your hands? If you give and tithe 10% to the church, why wouldn't you give 10% to your future? I hope and pray that today becomes the first day of your journey to build wealth for yourself, to literally begin to strategize on how you can become financially independent in the future and put a plan in place. It's not rocket science. It doesn't even require you to be super smart, but it does require you to have your priorities in order and to be disciplined and to make some sacrifices. It does require that you be thinking more about, I think what it comes down to with so many people is we have to impress people. It's like it's a competition. But it reminds me of something else Dave Ramsey said, and I might mess it up, but it was something along the lines of you have to live like no one else is living today so that you can live like no one else is living in the future, tomorrow. And compound interest is the way to do it. You'll never be able to out earn inflation. I don't care how much money you make. If you're not investing, those dollars can't translate from generation to generation and continue to earn value. Of course, yeah, you can keep making more money and having cash flow that'll make you what we would call rich or wealthy, right? But if you want those dollars to be sustainable past your lifetime, past your ability to earn your skill set, if you want those dollars to go even past what your skill set can do, you have to invest. There's no other way around it. There's no other way around it. You cannot out earn inflation. And you can out earn what happens to money over time if you don't invest it. I gotta go. I hope you got some value out of this video. I really do, from my heart. And sometimes I be wondering, like, should I just go dormant on social media platforms and just say, hey, what I'm going to do is, just like so many other people, I'm going to take on private clients, find the people that's really serious, really want to commit to a process to change their financial future, and say, how much is my time worth to really pour into them and show them, sit down, like one-on-one, face-to-face, and map out strategies and draw it out on paper and show them this is how it works, and really deep dive into some of these financial principles and show them step by step how to invest, what to invest in, how to do some analytical analysis, right, on what to choose and how to do this, and doing the future value projections and really looking at what their goals are and doing some risk management and risk assessments, right, and building out a suitable portfolio that, is based upon, how much risk they can tolerate and handle, right? And really getting people that really, really want to do it. Sometimes I'll be like thinking like that, like, oh my God, it's people getting this, right? And so, but because I'm really, really so passionate about it, I want to give it. One of the things that I said, God, I don't want to leave this earth with all of this information and knowledge in my head. I gotta pour it out because I feel like sometimes I'm so full. it's so I don't even know how I say it. I gotta let it out. I gotta release it. And I know how much it has changed my life and restored my financial situation, right? I know the impact that this information has had on me to grow and to build and to set firm in place what my financial future is going to look like and the future of my posterity and my descendants, right? I know what that looks like. And I want you to have that same confidence in your financial future as well. So if you're finding value in this content, show me how much you support the content, the knowledge that we're giving away. Drop some stars, man. Go ahead and press that button and give some stars. And also, even more so than that, share this video with your family, with your friends, with your family, and let's shake them up and wake them up. People that you know are making bad financial decisions, are not good managing their money. This is an introduction to changing your mindset, right? Share this video. Press the thumbs up like button, the heart, right? Let's get this video in the algorithm so more and more people can get this knowledge and just this general awareness. And if you're on YouTube, press the subscribe button. We'd love to see you come over and partner with us by just sharing this video with people, pressing the thumbs up like button, pressing the subscribe button, and then the notification bell so you'll get notified when we do more videos and new content. And then here on Facebook, hey, we'd love to see you come through and drop some comments. And also on the page of the Second Missionary Friendship. I think you talk. Second friendship. Charge it to my head, to my heart. I'm talking too fast. Second Friendship, the ship, Missionary Baptist Church with my buddy, my friend. Hey, he just had his 20th year pastoral anniversary a week ago. To my friend, Rodney Williams, and Second Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, the ship. Shout out to you all. But I got to go. And I'm just here trying to help you, helping other people accept. But I gotta go. Until the next time, I'm out. Peace.